finger down if before you were married, this guy asked you on a dinner date and you were really excited and you went to your sister's house before and she helped you get ready and you borrowed her shoes and you show up and he's late, and that's fine, and you get the table and then he shows up and he's in sweatpants. Okay, whatever. The waitress comes over and we get a drink, and then she comes back to get our food order and he says, I'm really not even hungry. And I was like, oh, I am. So I ordered. And then she comes back over to get my plate after I ate, and he says, damn, I didn't think someone your size would eat that much. And then when he goes to the bathroom, the waitress comes back over and she's like, hey, this obviously isn't going to work out, so here's my number. Yeah, didn't eat that much, bitch.
Oh, because I was just like, he broke. I really thought it was going to be like one of those stories where it's like, yeah, I'm not really hungry. And then your food come and they eating off your plate. Anybody have friends like that? I have friends like that. And I'd just be like, did you wash your hands? My mom be like, like, we got the menu at the same time. If you wanted to try it, you could have ordered it yourself and tried it. But nah, I thought that was gonna go there. I guess he really wasn't hungry. Like, who shows up to a date with some sweatpants? Unless it's a gym date, but we're not doing a gym date as a first date. Like, that's silly. Like, we gotta be knowing each other for a while for me to be like, oh, let's go on a date to the gym. Because this is one of my activities that I like to do. One of my hobbies is working out. But I'm not gonna be like, yo, you want to go to the gym as a date? Now that I think about it, that would not be a bad date. Well, yes, it would, because you get funky at the gym. Like, if you go to the gym and you don't sweat, why are you even there? What are you really doing? What are you doing? You're not doing enough. You're just wasting time. We're burning calories here. But yeah, that was wild, Fred. You said your waitress gave their number? Like, is that okay, boo? Is that your current boo? Your wife? Like, what happened? But that's cute. That's a flex, boo. Like, peep that gay. Clock it. Like, this ain't gonna work out, so let me. I work, boo. I know how to show up. I know how to cater to you, clearly.
A lot of people are doing Hinge horror stories on here, so I want to contribute mine. This is one of the worst dates I've ever been on in my entire life. And granted, some people have had it a lot worse. This is nothing compared to them, but I'm going to throw in my story. So back when I was living in Florida, I was on a couple different dating apps. I was on Tinder, I was on Hinge, I was on Bumble. I was probably on all of them. And I matched with a guy whose pictures didn't quite show him. Like, it was really tough to make out what the man looked like. And his bio was super vague. So I don't know why I swiped right, but something in me was like, yeah, sure, whatever. And we ended up matching and setting up a time to go out for drinks at a bar that was like right up the road for me. I think I chose the location. And I show up that night and I see him standing in the doorway, and instantly I'm like, oh, this is not, like, there's no attraction. He wasn't my type. But I was like, okay, I'll just go. I'll sit for 45 minutes. We'll have a conversation. I'll feed my extroverted side. It'll be fine. So we get our beers and it's kind of crowded. So we go and sit outside at a picnic table. And I don't remember when it first started going downhill, but one of the things that sticks out in my mind is he had just moved from New York, and he used the word libtard in an unironic way. And then he started going off about politics, and we were very obviously not aligned in our beliefs. And the conversation just kind of kept getting worse and worse. And I'm sitting there and I'm trying to be like, as women we're taught not to make waves. And I was like, just get through this. And I'm drinking my beer and I'm starting to feel a little bit fuzzy tingly. And then somehow the conversation like merged into astrology, which I enjoy. I don't put a ton of stock in it, but like, it's fun to talk about. But this man was very into astrology. Like, he started judging my star sign, which I could have done the same back. Whatever his was, it fit. And then at one point, he asks me if I've ever kissed or hooked up with a girl. I think he said like I give bi energy or something like that. But it wasn't phrased very kindly. And also, what a weird thing to ask somebody on a first date. And I think I like nervous laughed and I was like, yeah, I'm bi, It was awkward. And then we started talking about middle names. This man had a weird middle name. I'm not gonna judge your name. You didn't pick it, but like, his middle name was Goofy. His whole name was Goofy. And so at one point, we're in the middle of talking about something, and he leans in to kiss me. And I kid you not, my body reacted. And I went, oh, no. Like, literally, physically repulsed. And then I'm sitting there, like, kind of tipsy, like, oh, sorry, trying to laugh it off. But there was nothing I could do. So I looked at him, and I said his whole name, and I was like, I am not gonna kiss you. And he looked very defeated and very confused as to why he had been rejected. And then he was like, oh, well, maybe we could get another beer? And I was like, no, I'm actually gonna go. And I left. And it was probably the worst date I've ever been on.
I'm telling you, these worst dates, and it literally says horror story date. They be saying it, and I'd be like, this is nothing. This is nothing, bro. Because what? Okay, she said, I'm gonna do it for the plot for 45 minutes. I could understand she was like, I'm gonna do it for the plot to get something to drink. I was thirsty anyway, so I'm gonna come in here, and since I was already gonna come in here and drink, I guess I could entertain this conversation. I guess you could talk to me while I drink a couple drinks, like, because I'm out anyway and I look good, you know? Like, that's crazy. It's wild to me that he was just asking, you know, are you bi? Like, maybe my gaydar is off, or maybe I just was not looking at her like that, or like I didn't, you know, like I didn't. But after she said it, it's just like, oh yeah, I see it. After she said it, maybe that's how it was with him. He was like, oh yeah, I see that. Because some guys, like, we have that thought. Some thoughts are just like, okay, guys want you to be bisexual, but there's a lot of guys out here that don't want that. They don't want that at all. They want their girl to be straight. If I'm dating you, you can't be thinking about another woman. Like, I've seen a lot. If y'all watched The Love Is Blind, I only watched like the first few episodes when they picked who they was going to marry. That's about it. Like, it was a drag, bro. And I thought last season was a drag. Last season was a drag, and then it was just like, oh, I could actually watch it. It picked up. But this season, it's just like, I can't watch no more of it. I didn't even watch it after they didn't pick who they picked. It was so long. But yeah, I thought that I could understand that why he probably asked about the bi stuff. But the asking about your name, honey, your full name, maybe I'm just like overprotective of my identity. But why do you need to know my middle name? Like, my name, especially my middle name, is very, like, it's not common at all. My first name and my middle name are not common at all. It's not many people who have my name. Like, when I see somebody who has my middle, it's not even, I don't ever see anybody who has my middle name. Ever. Like, they have my middle name, but they don't spell it the same. Like, never see it. Like, my last name is very common. Okay, cool. Yeah. But no, like, wow. I'm not sharing. I feel like that's kind of sensitive information. You want to know my full name? And this girl that said his whole government name, you know the date over, honey. You go in for a kiss and she rejects you. You know the date is over. Not let's get another drink. No. It's over. It's done. Like, you made that move, and it's weird. And I've seen that a lot with guys. With straight guys, you can be talking in the middle of y'all conversing. They decide, oh, it's the perfect time to get a kiss, perfect time to lean in for a kiss, and it's just like, yo, we were literally just talking. What made you feel like I was feeling you like that? Like, we didn't even, like, you know when it's time for a kiss, when y'all are staring at each other. You look at your lips, you look back up, do that little look back down at the lips, do that with your mouth. You know what that girls be like. Maybe I should. That's when you know it's time for a kiss. Not in the middle of me talking. I'm over here talking. No, what are we, girl? Bye. You was better than me, but that wasn't like a horrible day. But I understand that was your horrible day. If that's your horrible day, you've had some really great dates, honey. If that's the worst it's been, you've had some amazing. Cause that's pretty good. Pretty good. You gonna make one to go get you a burger? If you want a burger, get a burger. You remember that back in the day? She looking like now. To get a burger, why don't you DoorDash it? Nah, if you use the trick, you use was it temp mail? But back to I'm checking in real quick to remind you guys that the trip is on. We're going on a group trip, you guys. So I'm going to put a link in the description. It's going to be the first link to do a survey so we can figure out, so I know you can let me know and the planner know what you like, what's your availability, the activities you like to do, the country you want to go to, where you want to go. Like, don't forget to fill out that survey. I need 100 people to fill out the survey so we can get this done. So even if you are not interested in going to the trip, do the survey anyway. Okay, thank you so much. Now back to the reaction.
So there was this guy that I was talking to in Dallas, right? I live in Boston. I decided like, this is just not gonna work out. Like he just was not good at communicating. I was like, nah, not for me. So I ended up letting him know like, this is just not gonna work. Tell me why I have not talked to him in weeks, like in weeks. So tell me why I've moved apartments. I now live in a whole other city in Boston that I used to live in, but I'm still paying rent on my old apartment. I have like 2 more months to pay. So I still have access to that apartment. I can still see if somebody's going into that apartment, blah, blah, blah. I get a notification on President's Day saying that somebody has gotten into my apartment, like the door is unlocked. I'm sitting over here like, okay, it could be maintenance because they're closed on President's Day. It's a holiday. So I'm freaking out or whatever. And as I'm about to call my apartment, I see that I got a call from the police. They're like, Mariah, this is the police department. Please give us a call back so we know that you're okay. I'm like, what? Like, why wouldn't I be okay? So again, I don't even call the police or whatever. I end up calling my apartment. I called them. I'm like, what's going on? Why is somebody in my apartment? They're like, oh, we have the same question. The police are here doing a wellness check. I said, a wellness check for what? They're like, we wouldn't know. The police wouldn't give us any information. But the police are very concerned because they walked into your apartment and it's empty. Like, no, of course it's empty because I literally moved. So I end up calling the police and I'm like, excuse me, can you please let me know, like, why was there being a wellness check being done? Well, one of your friends reported you missing and was concerned. Missing? Because this man called the police to have them, I'm gonna say, break into my apartment to do a wellness check. Because I told you I wasn't interested anymore. And we have not spoken.
Fran, I don't know if I should be more concerned about the cops just breaking into your house, your apartment without a warrant. Like, I understand. No, because I don't understand a wellness check. I can understand a wellness check from your family and your family gives them permission, but a friend wants to do a wellness check on you and they just break into your house, honey. Did they know you were black? Because that sounds like they knew you were black. It was like rice were just thrown away because they knew what race you were. Because I ain't never heard that. Should I be more concerned about the cops just breaking into your house or this guy who just crossed the line to say, hey, cops, break into her house? There's so much, friend. What happened? What was the thought process, really? Like, oh, I haven't heard from this girl in weeks. And it's not because you blocked him, because I didn't hear that. I didn't hear, oh, I blocked him. I just heard I was honest with him and told them that this is not going to go any further. And then weeks later of y'all he didn't even reach out to you. He didn't. What I heard after you said that, you closed the book, he wasn't like, well, let me read the back of it. Let me just open up and see who they acknowledge. Like, he didn't do any of that. He didn't reach out at all. For him to jump from you ended the conversation and him to jump to, let's call the cops and see where she at after weeks later. Girl, what was he thinking? Clearly he wasn't, because what? That seems weird. And how did he know where you live? You didn't give me enough information. I'm over here, my brain is like, why? What? Girl, I'm so glad you moved, because what in the world? What could that have been? Like, imagine if you was like, had your Beats or some headphones in and didn't hear the phone, didn't hear the cops, and they just bust into your house. Like, that could have been, we've already heard what that could have been. We've already witnessed what that could have been. Like, I'm so glad you're safe, friend, because all of that was wrong. All of that was wrong. What the freak? That is just weird. It's weird. What? Wellness check when you could have just easily hit me up. Girl, like this video, follow all the creators, and subscribe.